Some Minnesota Vikings talk with the preseason here, training camp now history, the whole time in Mankato history as well, as we've talked about a few times with Vikings fan and local sports enthusiast Todd Walkingstick. Good to talk to you, Todd. Training camp is over. How does it feel knowing how much you are connected and enjoy that part of this whole picture?
3 letters, sad, S-A-D. Really sad. Life, nothing's forever. But it is disappointing.
As far as the camp itself this year, what stood out about Vikings training camp, either from the fan standpoint and their salute to the team, or the team as well, getting ready for the season?
As far as the team, a big fan of Bradford, Sam Bradford, the quarterback. His accuracy and his touch is going to be extremely fun to watch. The only concern I have coming out of camp, and probably most people know this, is the offensive line. With Riley Reef going down first night, I really never got to see the full line in action. So, tomorrow night, or Thursday will be a huge night to see really how the offensive line is at least starting to look.
How are those receivers looking then that Bradford is connecting with?
This will be my favorite group of receivers in my time in Mankato, I believe. Other than Chris Carter and Randy Moss and Jake Reed, but these guys, Thielen and Diggs and Michael Floyd, the rookies, they got some real good hands.
Did Teddy Bridgewater ever spend extensive time on the field? Did you ever see him practice to speak of?
He did not practice at all. There's 3 practice fields in Mankato. The one farthest west is where you'd see him just doing whatever exercise they got him doing. It was Latavius Murray and Bridgewater, and then Sharif Floyd were over there 99% of the time.
On the defensive side, the team keeps signing some of their stars to long-term deals. You've got to be excited about the defensive side of the team.
Honestly, this might be one of the most best defenses I've seen in quite a while. I'm predicting right now top 5 defense. Laugh at me if you want, but Everson Griffin, Daniil Hunter, Linval Joseph, Kendricks, Barr, Xavier Rhodes, Harrison Smith. If we stay healthy, I can't see why we aren't a top 5 defense.
Well, I'll tell you what, Todd, I believe I saw some stats that indicated the Vikings were ranked 3rd, at least in some categories, last season. How about 1st? Can you go out there and predict this will be the best defense in the NFL?
Yeah, I would love to say that. I haven't really been following other teams, obviously being in Mankato, but I'm going to say top 5, top 3. I'd be real happy with that. Top for sure. I'd be ecstatic for number 1, but the thing with this year, like last year, offense was on the field way too short a time, and the defense wore down. They just wore down. So this is the key: is to keep the ball, the offense. Bradford. I think people should get real excited about Dalvin Cook. He looks extremely quick. I cannot wait to see him against Buffalo.
How did the fans seem to take in this final training camp in Mankato then? Simply from the emotional side, or the salute and thank you to the team for all the great memories?
I talked to several people over there, both Mankato people and also out of town, and they're just sad. It's a sad day. Actually, let's see, last day was Tuesday night. The morning practice that was autograph line for the running backs. When I got there, I was probably 900th in line, and I didn't want to meet the running backs. I just wanted to go to practice, but I stood in line, and so that was heavy. But then the afternoon practice, I actually thought was lighter than I thought it would be.
Okay.
As far as numbers of people.
Now let's get into this game at hand on Thursday. The preseason opens for the Vikings. They'll be at Buffalo. What are some things to look for? What are important aspects of preseason game number 1?
First and foremost, health.
Okay.
You can't afford, say, a Murray goes down, or Cook goes down on a freak thing. That would be all we need. Second key is the offensive line. That's probably the number 1 key of the game. Health. I'd like to see Bradford, the offensive line, get a good series in, more than 3 and out. I don't know what they're thinking. I heard 2 series for the starters, depending on how the first series goes. Health and offensive line will stay with that.
The 4-game preseason schedule, once in a while the NFL talks about cutting that down, maybe extending the regular season. How do you feel about 4 preseason games on an NFL team schedule?
I like to see them dwindle it down too. I just, as a season ticket holder, I enjoy going to it, but, the complaint from season ticket holders, why do we got to pay the same amount of money for the preseason ticket as we do the regular season when, the third and fourth games typically are almost meaningless, especially the fourth game, because that's when the last hurrah for all the borderline guys. And so, I'll sit there at US Bank Stadium and enjoy it, but I've heard so many fans say, why do I got to pay that much money for it? So, and the other thing is injuries. How many big stars have gone down in preseason and they lose basically their whole season. So, there's arguments both ways. I would like to see it cut down to, I'll say 2. Training camp, I'd probably say training camp stayed the same amount. And I heard K-Fan yesterday with Bud Grant saying they used to practice 6 to 8 weeks in Mankato. Training camp. I couldn't imagine 6 to 8 weeks, so I think 2 to 3 weeks. And with the conditioning all year round, basically, OTAs and everything else, they really live football all year round, so should be in shape.
Yeah, things have changed over the years in the way athletes prepare and they spend their off season. What are the home games on the preseason side of things? Who will the Vikings host this fall?
You're not going to believe this, but I can't think offhand. I believe the Dolphins come here.
And is San Francisco the other one? San Francisco, maybe?
Yeah, San Francisco, Miami. Jay Cutler with the Dolphins.
Okay.
And 49ers, yep.
Okay.
I had to think about. But yeah, that's it's like a Sunday, Thursday game.
Okay.
Right, so we got a 4-day gap, and then Thursday, and then we're done till regular season.
And Todd, on another note, do you have handy the latest round of interviews that'll be coming out at Beyond the Game through OwatonnaLive.com, local interviews? Do you have those names handy?
I do. It's an Owatonna flavor this week. It's Lori Ebling, goalie for the hockey girls, and then she also plays lacrosse. I have Kenna West, who is soccer and lacrosse, and Della Soli.
Oh, wow.
Football coach, one of the coaches. So it's an Owatonna flavor. Goes online Thursday, so I'm excited to. I interviewed him obviously, but I'm excited to see it again.
Hey Todd, any other closing comments for now about the Vikings? And we'll certainly bring you in time to time and get some updates as the importance increases in the preseason on into the regular season and everything. It's fun to get your perspective on the Vikings. But any parting thoughts for the moment?
No, I was telling people I've made about 275 trips to Mankato in my career over there. A lot of memories. It's just people don't understand it. And maybe I'm being silly, but I'm truly kind of heartbroken right now. And actually, I was telling somebody, I said, when training camp ends, it seems like football's over. But really, it's just beginning. It's just the weirdest feeling leaving Mankato. Like football's over, but it isn't. It's really goes to our winter, as everybody knows.
Wow. Okay. Interesting perspective or dynamic in that sense. But once we get through the drudges of the preseason, you will be as fired up as can be for those regular season games, right?
Well, you had a Saints game. If you can't get up for that game with Adrian Peterson coming to town.
Yeah.
I guess that was the other thing, training camp, just to mention, there wasn't really a lot of talk about Peterson and missing him. I was kind of shocked.
Okay. Well, like you said at the beginning, life moves on, things change. In this case, a longtime Minnesota Viking goes elsewhere, and maybe a lot of people have turned the page.
Yeah, I'm going to assume we're not going to be as predictable. It won't be Peterson run, pass.
All right, well, if it adds up to a few more wins, I think all those who wear purple will be pretty happy, Todd.
Yeah, I do. Well, all I can do is hope. Every year I hope, so...
All right. Hey, good talking to you. Cheer them on hard Thursday night with that game at Buffalo. And then, of course, in person, they'll have a couple of games at US Bank Stadium. Todd Walking Stick. Thanks for your time, Todd.
Oh, thank you. Have a good week.
All right. And you as well.